Welcome back to Eye on Sports. Now, it's been 2 weeks since Martin Lynn unseated former President Handel Lamy of the then Amateur Swimming Association of Jamaica, ASAJ. Lynn, who won by 10 votes, accumulating 32 votes to Lamy's 22, immediately promised transparency and promised to clear up the so-called mess left behind by the previous administration. We are joined now by the new president of the Aquatics Sports Association of Jamaica.
Absolutely.
Mr. Martin Lynn. Thank you very much for joining us on Eye on Sports.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's get right into it then. The
Sure.
Aquatic Sports Association of Jamaica.
Yes.
Pardon me, the ASAJ. You've been president for 2 weeks. You and your team have been in office for about 2 weeks.
Hit the ground running.
Your early assessments, what have you done so far? You said you hit the ground running.
Well, so far we've had to reverse a couple of things that the previous administration did.
Like?
Like for instance, we changed the accreditation for UANA. In terms of a meet that UANA is now going to be hosting in Coral Springs,
Remind
Florida.
the viewers what UANA, the acronym stands for.
UANA stands for the Union of Swimming. Swimming is divided in the world in 3 parts.
Right.
So UANA is really the North America, Central America, and South America, and the Caribbean region.
Okay.
So that encompasses all of this area. So they have for the years they have been planning to have different meets or a meet. And they decided that they would have one in 2018 in Florida. And the standard that was set previously was very high, quad A time. And I mean, to a swimmer, that you'll understand that is like trying to get, sub 10 times in sprinting. At a time when swimmers haven't really tapered yet. Swimmers haven't really gotten to that position yet. In January. So it was incumbent on us to immediately change that, which we did. We had a special council meeting, so everything is above board, to make sure that our athletes could attend this inaugural one. This is the first time they're going to have it. So the fact is that why would we disenfranchise our athletes in the first UANA meet when in fact we don't know what the standards are yet? So we changed that, and at this point in time, I can't speak too openly because we have a Christmas open meet coming up this weekend. But so far, we would have at least 7 or 8 athletes immediately able to qualify to go to this meet. And I mean, it would be very sad if UANA had a meet like this and Jamaica as a country wasn't represented.
Mm-hmm. Let's get into, because you didn't mention swimmers, you mentioned athletes. And
right.
Let's get into the name change from Amateur Swimming Association of Jamaica, which I figure was a little bit more restrictive to now the Aquatic Sports Association of Jamaica. Just explain for the viewers why that had to change.
Well, we had to change it. I mean, as a matter of fact, it's something that I had proposed years ago in my previous administration, simply because aquatics means everything to do with the water. When people hear about amateur swimming, first of all, swimming means competitive swimming to us. So aquatics now encompasses water polo, synchronized swimming, which may have a name change to artistic swimming as well. FINA is still wrestling with the name change. Open water swimming, and of course my pet, diving. So aquatics means all of those, and immediately one would say, oh gee, yes, that's aquatics, so therefore that's what it means rather than just swimming. So that was one reason for the name change. The second reason for the name change really is that we do have some swimmers like an Alia Atkinson, who is not necessarily amateur anymore. She is now a professional swimmer. And there are a couple other swimmers that are going to achieve that standard very, very soon. And we felt the need to make sure that we weren't breaking any of the FINA rules, because we're guided by FINA, our worldwide organization.
Mm-hmm. And talk to me now about some of the plans. I had spoken to you before the AGM, and you had outlined to me some of the things that you would bring in your second time as president.
Correct.
Talk to me about some of the plans that you have for the immediate future now for aquatics.
Well, the first thing is obviously we hit the ground running. We changed some of the standards, which is as I outlined before. Secondly, the idea is to now nurture sponsors to come back into aquatics generally and let them know that this is a sport that is vibrant and growing. So I've already approached some sponsors. I've been in office, so to speak, for 2 weeks, And I'm here to tell you that already 2 new sponsors are going to be with Aquatic Sports. Definitely one new one, Premix, for instance, is new to Aquatics, but they have been now convinced to come on board, and others as well. So that's a work in progress. I mean, we will see where that gets to. The second thing that we need to have done, and we are now doing it, is tidying up the administration. So in terms of nothing is done until the administration is fully done. So our office already is being a lot more transparent in different things that we're doing. Email answering, notification to all the different federations. And also, the other thing that we needed, and we are now starting to, is to account for some of the previous administration's monies that were sent to the ASAJ, just to ensure that it goes to the athletes that it was originally planned to do so. Right. So that process has started.
There was a talk about having a forensic audit. I don't know, is that still on the cards?
Well, I don't know if the word forensic is, I'm not an accountant, so I don't want to use the word forensic on it and I get cried down later on. We are doing an audit. An audit is necessary. Not just, it's normal, and also from the point of view that we want to make sure that what was said by the previous administration is in fact what is being done to make sure, because monies came in for dedicated purposes. We want to make sure that those purposes are in fact what the monies were used for. And that's being done right now and will be concluded very shortly.
In terms of infrastructural upgrades, we're hosting, Jamaica hosting the Carifta Swim Championships in 2018.
Yes.
So significant upgrades would be needed to make to the
again, we hit the
National
ground running.
Aquatic Center.
Again, immediately, we propose building a new control booth, which is under construction right now, under construction for the last 2 weeks. So that control booth will be ready by the end of December. Again, we've gone to sponsors and we've gotten something sponsored for it already. And the point is that we also ordered new facilities in terms of touch pads, starting blocks, lane lines, backstroke flags. So those will come in due course. They're being shipped out probably in the next 2 weeks, and hopefully the Christmas rush.
What about the expansion of the seating area? So we're talking about fans now. Do we have the capacity?
We have the capacity. We have the capacity.
Another
thing that's being proposed, and it's not something that we may or may not do for Carifta, was to cover the entire stands, so that you're not baking in the sun in the day. And that proposal is being taken up now. And as soon as we can see fit to do that, we will do that. Hopefully, it will be done before Carifta. We met with a team this morning at the Aquatic Center, and they're putting together their plans to see how far we can get before April.
And is the diving pool, is that in order? Is everything there up to the standards that it should be?
Well, the diving pool is up to standard in terms of the pool itself. Yes, it is. And again, one of the thrusts that I would have is to make sure that diving is reintroduced into Jamaica. I mean, we already have international divers that want to represent Jamaica. So I'm going to push that as well along to make sure that people understand it's another discipline, another avenue that athletes can perform in and represent Jamaica.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned diving, because my next question is about, how much attention we're paying to the other sports in the aquatics, because we've been doing one in swimming.
Yes.
But the other parts of the aquatics, you named them. Diving is one of them.
Yes, diving is one.
How much attention is being paid, and how much money or how much effort is being pumped to get those up to the standard that swimming is?
Well, that's a longer road. Water polo is far advanced. I mean, the vice president of water polo, Lance Rochester, has done a lot of work to water polo. Obviously, it still needs a lot of work. The problem with water polo is that it's a team sport. So when swimming can send 1 or 2 athletes to represent Jamaica, water polo has to send 17. So the fact of the matter is, or more, the fact of the matter is that water polo is a challenge, but it is something that this administration has always said that they will undertake to make sure that artistic swimming as well. We have we have a relationship with China, and in January they'll be sending a coach for synchronized swimming and a coach for competitive swimming. So already We're trying to involve and try to move synchronized swimming, artistic swimming ahead as well, as water polo. We also have open water. And in open water, which Jamaica hosted open water for the first time in Carifta in 2013 under my watch. And again, next year, the open water will be held at James Bond Beach. And we already have a sponsor for that. Matter of fact, we have 2 sponsors for that already. And that would help open water, you know, move along.
And in terms of, have you gotten any word yet of how many spots will be made available for aquatics for the Commonwealth Games, which is early next year?
Well, unfortunately, that was in a previous administration. I don't believe that the attention was properly put to it. So as we sit here right now, we have 2 spots, one for a swimmer and one for a diver. I have made a position to the JOA known that I believe that we have gone from 3 swimmers to 4 swimmers to Scotland, 6 swimmers and a diver. I don't see why we should be reversing that trend. We should be going ahead. So the JOA is well aware of what is to be done. They are currently looking into it as well because there is a quota. And I respect the fact that there's a quota. But the fact is that aquatics has always represented Jamaica well at the Commonwealth Games, and they should continue to do so. We can't do so with 1 swimmer and 1 diver.
Martin Lynn, the newly returned president of the Aquatic Sports Association of Jamaica. Thank you very much for joining us on Ion Sports. So with that, we take a break and we return with netball. We'll be speaking to Simone Forbes. Stay tuned.